Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Illustration Department podcast. My name is Giuseppe Castellano. In this podcast, I talk to folks in illustration, graphic design, publishing, animation, and other creative fields about their work, the lessons they've learned, and the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. In this episode, my guest is award-winning author and multimedia artist Selina Alko. In difficult times, personally or otherwise, it can feel like a worthless pursuit to illustrate or write. As Selina and I discuss, it is quite the opposite. Among the topics, we chat about why illustrators who say, "I'm not a writer," are almost always wrong. Selina shares how she created, otherwise known as Judy the Great, her poetic ode to Judy Blume. And Selina encourages every creative to be their own best friend. I hope you enjoy our conversation.
Okay, you can cut that cough out.
No, I'm leaving that in. We're gonna start. That's how the podcast starts. You think I'm kidding? No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that to you. All right, here's where we're gonna start. As I was doing research for you, Selina, I heard you in another episode talking about your son and your daughter and how they're like two different personalities. And obviously these episodes are years ago, so who knows what, especially with teenagers, they change seemingly week to week, month to month. But how you described your son reminded me of what my experiences were like with my son even just a few years ago. Back in like the early teenage years, my son was introverted and had just raging anxiety. It sort of manifested itself into, and he had like a sort of a pent up aggression where he was frustrated about things. We couldn't quite figure out why, hence the therapy. But sometimes that aggression would come out in ways that were surprising. It wasn't like violence, but anger. He'd say things to us, to his sisters, his younger sisters, that caught us off guard a little bit. As everyone knows, you work on something, it gets better. And he's much better. And it ended up being for the better because we realized like a lot of it had to do with ADHD and some other things. It was particularly distressing, not just as a dad, but as someone who myself had and still do. I still, experience a great deal of anxiety. And I had very extreme depression to the point where, I found myself Googling how to end my life in a way that wouldn't make a mess. And so like there were these similarities with like being a parent, especially when you have a child who requires a bit more of your attention and worry. And then you have to turn around and illustrate like a cute puppy. As an illustrator, you can't illustrate in a vacuum. And not everything is going to be like cozy blankies with cups of tea and your favorite music. Sometimes like you have to deal with real life stuff, with curveballs, as you and I had experienced a few minutes ago with our technology. How do you deal with the curveballs, especially when it's that hard, and then turn around and illustrate a cute puppy?
First of all, I really appreciate the question. It's an excellent question.
Oh, thanks. I tried. It's the only one. Trust me. It's downhill from there.
But I will say that I don't illustrate cute puppies. So
yeah, I know.
I think that that's what helps me with the hard stuff is pouring my angst and the difficulties in real life that I'm dealing with my children, because actually both of them struggle in different ways and have struggled for many years. I put all of that into my work. And it's the work itself, the illustration work, the books, that is my therapy. That's my self-preservation. So as long as I'm working, I feel better. I'm filling myself up. I'm able to then deal with the other stuff more effectively or with like I'm stronger, it makes me stronger, I feel. Yeah. Even the topics that I generally immerse myself in or am working on are somehow making me think about whatever's happening in my real world or with my kids and whatnot. I don't know, it gives me perspective. It helps repair. It's kind of hard to explain, but it definitely, it's like a salve to the difficult.
Yeah. How you described it is a healthy and positive way of dealing with that sort of thing. And a lot of illustrators I work with who, they want to be creative, they want to be productive, they want to submit to agents, they want to do all the things. And yet in their private lives and their home life is hard.
Totally. Right. So sometimes it's hard to even have the motivation to do the other stuff. I hear you.
Especially when you have like an unsupportive partner.
Right.
It goes even that deep.
Yeah. You need to create the best conditions around you as possible in order to move forward. So if there's anything that's kind of in the way or holding you back, it's important to address that.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say as far as that goes.
If I didn't have a care in the world, and if all of my bills were paid by somebody else, I would find it incredibly easy to paint and draw all day long. But that isn't the reality for a lot of us, for most of us, for all of us.
Okay. There's two things. There's what's happening in your own life that can be very difficult. If you make those conditions easier and you're able to pay your bills and everything's great. But then, what about what's happening in the world at large? Like those anxieties are real too. And those could also be affecting your ability to create. Right. So it's no matter what, there's probably going to be challenging things to contend with. So a person needs to really develop like strength and resilience in order to be a working artist or illustrator.
Yeah.
You just can't let the tough stuff bury you.
Yeah.
Artists throughout time have struggled. It's part of the condition of being an artist, I think.
Yeah.
Because we're sensitive.
Exactly. We feel everything more acutely than
absolutely
quote unquote the normal folks do.
Right.
So now let's talk about puppies. No, I'm kidding. We had B is for Brooklyn when the kids were little. It's how I was introduced to your work. Beautifully illustrated, by the way.
Thank you.
I do have a tiny bone to pick.
Okay.
In the book, the map of Brooklyn, specifically Bay Ridge, which is where I lived before we left and moved to outside of Philly. I lived in Windsor Terrace and then Bay Ridge, but the Bay Ridge placement on the map isn't quite right. Respectfully.
Okay.
It needs to be shifted down a little bit.
Okay.
In reprints.
Out the book.
Yeah, just
okay.
When it reprints again, assuming it's just continually reprinting, you might want to take a look at that.
Okay.
If I'm being really picky, Sunset Park too.
They're too far?
Sunset Park and Bay Ridge should be shifted down about an inch.
Oh, okay.
I
1
think.
inch. All right. Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Sorry. Once an art director,
okay.
Always an art director. Respectfully.
Okay.
I
can take it.
I lived in Windsor Terrace, and do you still live in South Park Slope?
I do.
We probably crossed paths once or twice.
Sure. What are your favorite? What were your haunts?
I don't know if it's still there, but there was a meat pie place.
Oh yeah, Dub Pies. Yeah.
Oh,
it's not there. It's not there anymore.
Bummer. How about the Windsor
Gone.
Knot or something? That
the
bar?
Double Windsor?
Yeah. Still there?
That's there. Yep.
Yeah. Love that place.
Once in a while I go there.
Sweet.
Yep.
When I first moved there, the Double Windsor was an adult video store. And across the street, Dub Pies was a Western Union. So
what year was that?
1975? No. 2000. My son was born in 2007. So 2005?
Okay.
2005 or 6, something like that.
Wait, our kids are about the same ages.
Yeah, my son's 18 and my girls are 15.
Wow. Twin girls. Okay. My son is he's 20 and my daughter's almost 18.
Whew.
Close.
Yeah. I have to say, I don't know if you ever experienced this, but when I announced to my coworkers when I was at Penguin, hey, we're having twin daughters, people's responses were alarming. Basically, to a person, they were like, oh, well, just you wait until they're teenagers.
Oh my goodness.
Fuck that. And they've been awesome. They are continually awesome.
Oh.
So is my son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, oh God, the teenage
yeah.
years. Just you wait. Anyway. Yeah, Windsor Terrace. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's hop on the F train.
Okay.
And head into the city, as they say, and go back in time about 15 years. So in 1995, you earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in illustration from the School of Visual Arts.
Yes.
Within just a few weeks, your children's book career was up and running and you never received one rejection.
That is hilarious.
What were those first years like?
Oh,
you said you did a million things.
A million. God, I had no idea what I was doing.
I'm happy to hear that. Seriously, I'm happy to hear that.
Oh,
I'm hoping people listening hear that. Go ahead.
Who does? But when I was in school, like I actually never won awards ever. I wasn't one of those students that was destined for, I don't know, the Society of Illustrators. And like, to me, all of the accolades, they were like a distant dream. Like I was still very eager, and I was very much in striving mode when I graduated. Right. I had an amazing mentor in school, Lisa Desimini.
Sure. Children's book illustrator?
Yeah.
And writer?
Yeah. Married to Matt Mahurin.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They've been together for at least since when I was in school. So.
All right. So speaking of married couple illustrators.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sean Quells.
Oh, we're divorced though.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
God, my research game is
It's
off.
okay. I don't talk about it a lot, and we are amicable, and it's been 6 years.
Okay.
Maybe almost actually closer to 7 years now.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Actually, it's really been a good thing.
Okay.
I still get a lot of people asking me about my husband, and it's like, I actually went to his art opening on the weekend. He just had a book launch, and I brought the kids, and it was very amicable. And I saw his sister, who I hadn't seen in a lot of years. And I think we're in a good place now, actually.
There you go. You can't be an illustrator in a vacuum.
Exactly. But back to Lisa Desimini and Matt, Lisa actually was an inspiration. The fact that they were a married illustrator couple was inspiring to me, because back when I was in art school, I was actually dating a banker, and I was very unfulfilled, emotionally and spiritually. And I kept thinking like it was like a big conclusion after that relationship ended that I wanted to be with an artist. So, and you know what? Sean and I were together for over 20 years, and it was deeply fulfilling and spiritually enriching for a lot of years. And we helped each other. We helped each other build our careers. So, okay, we were talking about Lisa, and she was my mentor, SVA.
You didn't know what the hell you were doing.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Paraphrasing, of course.
No, that's exactly. Didn't I say that?
I added the hell in there.
Okay. Yeah. I could add in a few more expletives there, but
maybe later we'll save the expletives for later. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So it took a lot of years. I wanted to do children's books, but I would say it maybe took 7 to 10 years. See, 95. Yeah, about 10 years.
Sounds about right.
Before I had the first book published that I was actually proud of. And it was not a mainstream publisher. The book is My Subway Ride with, have you heard of Gibb Smith?
Sure. Of course.
Yeah. That book actually, the advance on that project was very small. However,
don't give me a number. I'll just guess under 5.
Yes.
Under 5.
Yes. Under 5.
Yeah.
Under 5K. But I did it because the art director gave me full freedom. She just said, you can do whatever you want. And the subject was New York City.
Yeah.
I just thought, I'm going to have so much fun with composition and materials and mixed media, and I'm going to play. And I submitted it to the original art show, and it got in.
Yeah.
And that changed my career because getting into that show landed me my first agent.
Right. Rebecca.
Yeah. Very good.
Writer's House.
Yes. But I'm not with her anymore. But that lasted for 9 years.
Yeah. I had a question for you about why you separated, but I deleted it.
You deleted it?
The question. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can answer it now. It's out there. It's out in the world.
I think that, she also represented Sean.
Right.
And we did 4 books together. And those books, the experience ended up being quite fraught. Okay. And at least from my perspective, I'm sure Sean has a different story. Rebecca probably does too. But I think at the time, things were sort of falling apart in our marriage, and our careers we wanted different things from our careers. And we both kind of decided, we kind of came to the conclusion that we were unhappy for different reasons in our careers before our marriage. And so we started looking elsewhere for representation, and breaking up with Rebecca was like a divorce. It was so painful. But you know what? I'm friends with Rebecca now again, not to the point where I see her at events and it's very friendly. And actually we went to see a Broadway show a couple years ago, and I will go again with her. I really like her. If she listens to this, I want her to know.
I don't think she does.
She might. You don't think so?
I don't know.
Okay.
There's much of what I discuss with illustrators centers on negative self-talk. Because good Lord, our illustrators we're so absolute masters. Oh my God, we are so hard on ourselves. And I have been working very hard for the last 8-9 years on my own self because I used to do a lot of negative self-talk. I still do. But not as much as I used to before. Anyway, but lost train of thought. It's good for listeners to hear that, because one of the other things I talk a lot about with illustrators is like, well, I have an agent, but I want to break up with my agent. What is that like? Is that going to ruin my career? And of course the answer is no. Happens all the time. Right. Happens all the time.
Exactly. It does.
Yeah.
It doesn't take the pain away, but it does help with the perspective of if you yourself need something different and it's time to grow.
It happens.
It's okay.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Was I'm Your Peanut Butter Big Brother the first book you wrote as well as illustrated?
Yes.
How old were you? Approximately.
How old was I?
Approximately.
I was pregnant with my daughter.
I'm leading the witness. You'll see where I'm going with this.
Okay. I was in my late 30s.
Yeah.
Like 38 maybe.
I bring this up because many of the illustrators that I work with are interested in writing. But they, think it's too late for some reason, even though they're in the middle of building their illustration practice. They're like, well, I should have done that 10 years ago. Why? Why not now? Start now. So A, it's too late for some reason, which is wrong. B, they think they have to be as proficient with writing as they are with illustration off the bat, which isn't true. So maybe A and B are kind of like cousins.
Yeah.
And or C, say, quote, but I'm not a writer. I assume you, Selina, didn't wait to be called a writer before you started writing. Is that a safe assumption?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when does one get to call themselves a writer?
Rather than the term writer, I might use storyteller.
There you go.
And
that's fine.
Yeah, because I think I knew that I had stories in me, and maybe I'm not the most articulate person or the most devoted to like getting things down in words or sentences, but I do have ideas, and those ideas have shaped into stories over the years, and my storytelling has evolved and it's gotten better. And I do struggle with the writing part.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the illustrating part. I think I'm better at it and I'm happier when I'm illustrating.
Mm-hmm.
But I like writing. I like working out the kinks of telling a story, like I don't know, like resolving the issues. Like how am I going to, I don't know, create tension, or, I like even editing. I like taking out unnecessary words and things like that. So I do like the writing, and I feel better when I've done the whole package. Like I own it more, But I also, lately, I've been illustrating a lot of other people's stories and finding that super fulfilling too, in a different way. And I literally think it takes out half the work when I'm not doing the writing.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say it in a negative way like that, when I don't have to do the writing.
No, but I get you.
But you know what I mean?
Sure. I think I went the other direction. I started off as an illustrator and a book designer, art director. I got a Communication Arts Award. I got a Society of Illustrators Award once each. I didn't, it wasn't multiple like some people. But over the last couple of years, man, I've been writing up a storm, and I absolutely love it. And I am so much happier sitting down and writing.
Nice.
Nonfiction, biographies on illustrators and just helpful tips for how to be an illustrator and things like that.
Amazing.
Than drawing and painting. Because when I'm drawing and painting, I'm doing this negative self-talk, like, I'm not as good a drawer as I should be, or my painting could be better. You know what I'm saying? Like as a painter, as a drawer, you put down one line, you're like, that's not the right line. But as a writer, I know I'm going to edit the crap out of it. And it is the editing part that's a lot of fun. And I also love playing with sounds, with sentence structure. Off the top of my head, like, this is too sing-songy, but something like, our visit to the pound was a resounding success.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So like, it's not rhyming. It's not like the one supposed to be from Nantucket, but the sounds within the sentence structure gives it a more lyrical kind of tone. And I know you know what I'm talking about because you do a lot of that. I did not mean to segue so perfectly into this, but
such a perfect segue.
Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. During the pre-order window for Judy Blume, speaking of storytellers, by the way, could you see how many books were pre-ordered?
I have not checked. I don't know.
Is there a way to check?
There probably is. Should I be? I'm not. I honestly don't like to get too caught up in.
Nor should you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nor should you have to. The reason I'm asking is because this comes up on the podcast all the time.
Oh.
Like the importance of pre-orders.
Oh yeah.
As I know you know. Anyway, I just was curious because if you have access to those numbers, I think I would check incessantly on a day-to-day basis. I'd also check after doing interviews like this. Like, did it work? Right. Or, whatever, social media posts or blogs or something. I would check a couple days later going like, well, this marketing strategy is supposed to –
Is there a bump?
Right. Is it working? And that's a question I often have with like when marketing departments have like this thing for you. They say, oh, we're going to do these things for you. We're going to get you on these podcasts or these blogs or shows or whatever. And you're like, great, but does it work?
I kind of have a little bit of a theory that I'm not going to be – because I don't think any one thing is going to help. But I think the more you do, the more you're out there. Like, it's sort of like just –
be everywhere all the time. Especially in the window. Be in as many places as you possibly can.
With as much authentic kind of joy or, I mean, I really do like talking about this kind of stuff. I love talking about the process. I loved making this book. I poured my heart and soul into it. I was in touch with Judy Blume.
Amazing.
I'm like thrilled to pieces to be having these conversations, whether or not they lead to actual sales. Look, I'm not going to lie that I want this book to be a bestseller. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I've had lovely award success.
Book reviewers love
book
you.
reviewers.
They love you.
Oh,
they do.
Which is so nice. And I'm not going to take that for granted at all. But I will say that I've never been on the New York Times bestseller. I don't get like enormous advances like some of my friends. And I'm like the slow and steady turtle. That is my career.
Beautifully illustrated collage mixed media turtle.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm kind of okay with that. It sort of feels like at this point in my life, like things are finally, after decades and decades, they're like sort of finally all coming together.
It's been 31 years since you graduated from SVA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's full circle. Like I'm not saying, I'm at the peak and things will never get any better, but I do feel like I'm finally in like a very good place where I just feel like I love the work I'm doing. Yeah. I love my projects. Yeah. I'm very fulfilled by the work. I'm getting really nice reviews and accolades. And maybe if I had to dream, like, maybe I would like a bestseller.
Sure.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Hey, man, if I ever have a book out, I am gunning for that bestseller status. There's no doubt. Because you know how it works. Like once you become a bestseller on some list, then when the book reprints, then they throw that little line of text at the top of the book and then you're good to go for a little while. It is beautifully illustrated. It really is. And my favorite spread is the World War II spread. Just the color scheme, the whole bit, the composition, the spiral thing that you have on the left-hand side. It's just so beautiful. And also one of the things that you do in this book that I often suggest to illustrators, because it was a thing that you used to see a lot, especially with like fairy tales, like longer stories in children's books, was the 3/4 spread. I love that composition. The 3/4 spread, man. People need to use it more often.
Thank you.
But anyway, it's really, really beautifully illustrated and well written. It is written in a poetic, lyrical text and organized in these like mini chapters. Here's the first spread. Spoiler alert, everybody. It's about Judy Blume. It starts off with Judy the Great. It's short, guys, so nobody fast forward 15 seconds. It's short. So it goes like this. 2 days away from Valentine's Day, in an otherwise quiet town, a girl who would grow up to be a great writer is born. The date is February 12th, 1938. The town is Elizabeth, New Jersey. The girl is Judith Sussman, otherwise known as Judy the Great. I was told, Selina, that children's book creators are never supposed to write poetry. Don't rhyme your text, they say, at conferences mostly. So how did you get a pass?
Well, first of all, these poems, most of them don't rhyme. Did you say don't write poetry or don't write rhyme?
I've heard both.
Oh. I think poetry is okay if it's done.
Agreed. They're both okay.
The right way.
Yeah.
I guess rhyming is fine too. A person has to really know what they're doing with the rhyme. Some of the poems that I did rhyme, it was tricky. It's tricky because you want to make it work without sounding forced. My editor actually suggested that I write this book in poetry as a way to do the mini chapters, as you put it. Also, poetry is not something that Judy Blume herself did. So it's a way to kind of make the picture book different from, I didn't want to try to be too much like Judy. I'm making my own interpretation. Right. So it was a challenge, but I think it was something that, at least reviewers have responded to. Hopefully kids will too. I love how you read that poem, by the way.
Thanks. This podcast is produced by the Illustration Department, a global leader in online education for illustrators. Visit illustrationdept.com for offerings like mentorships and portfolio reviews, testimonials, our alumni showcase, our best-selling Substack, and more. That's illustrationdept.com. And now, back to our conversation. I've many, many years of practice of reading plenty of illustrators' stories. I also think with writing, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, I've sort of come to the conclusion, and of course, as you know, in publishing, there are exceptions to every single thing. But except pagination, that never changes, everybody. It's always the same. Odd is on the right, even's on the left. Okay. I believe that the best children's books, now there's, oh my God, so many exceptions. Anyway, I'll just share it, whatever. The best children's books in my mind are the ones where you don't have to look at the art. You can hear it and it's still interesting. When you're reading a picture book to a child or to several children at a bookstore or whatever, you're performing a monologue. It is a performance piece.
Yeah.
And so I think, and especially when you're reading a book to your kid in bed and maybe they've turned over, they're about to fall asleep, so they're not really facing you and they're not really looking at the art, they're just listening to you speak, that text has to work on its own. It can't rely on the illustration. Right. So the illustration isn't there to fill in the blanks, so to speak. It's there to enhance the text and vice versa. Not to like plug up the holes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Those are my thoughts. That's my opinion, everyone. Yeah. People can have their own opinions about stuff. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I agree.
Oh, beautiful.
That was very well articulated. It was perfect. I don't have anything to add.
All right. Shoot. Gosh, I'm glad I had you on the podcast then. I was worried for a minute. You're like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Right? I mean, of course there are exceptions and there's books about fart jokes and things like that that are just like you need to see the art for the jokes to really land. But man, when the text can be read without the art and it works, you know you're onto something.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's that theory too that you need the illustrations and in order to, well, like you said, to enhance. But then again, the book with no pictures,
sure,
the B.J. Novak is, which I need to reread because I keep hearing that it really is brilliant. You know, so actually that really,
I don't know.
Maybe we don't need illustrators after all.
I wouldn't call it brilliant, but it was definitely a very favorite staple in our rotation when the kids were little, right?
Yeah.
The whole point of it, I think he said this, was to get an adult to say silly things and look and sound silly. And it is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Brilliant? I don't know if it's brilliant or not. Also, I happen to know, and I won't share what my sources are, but a source close to this situation, let's call it, it wasn't the easiest book to work on. I'll just put it that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fascinating.
Speaking of jokes, I was watching a documentary on Mel Brooks last night. It's called The 99-Year-Old Man.
I've been wanting to watch that.
It's good. I mean, I respect what he did, but his humor isn't for me. But that's regardless. It doesn't matter. I respect his career. Early in his career, as a writer for Your Show of Shows, which I didn't know about until the documentary, and apparently it was really popular and stuff, he said he dealt with anxiety and bouts of depression.
Yeah.
He said that he worried that people would find out that he was a fraud, which is such a common feeling among the illustration community. I mean, I feel like that worry is one that's shared with many people in children's publishing. Have you ever felt that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that was the self-doubt was a battle that I have had for ever until somewhat recently. I think there's been a little bit of a shift, like I was describing earlier. And I think that it has helped that I did not have a lot of success early on. Like I didn't have a lot of critical award-winning sort of, besides like getting into the Society of Illustrators, which was lovely.
Yeah.
But I mean, like in terms of the American Library Association Awards, which by the way happened yesterday, and that was a big day. But
everyone should look at who won.
Yes.
Not just the Caldicots.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my book, The Keeper of Stories, got a Sidney Taylor notable yesterday. So
congratulations.
Thank you. And it was the first time, honestly, like in my career, that to hear my name read aloud during that ceremony was very, very thrilling. And it's a big deal. But anyways.
Did they do the call thing? Is that how you found out?
Yeah, but the call came a little earlier, like 10 days ago. So I've been holding on to it for a while.
Oh, that's got to be a cool feeling though, right?
It was super cool.
Yeah.
It was super great. But back to the fraud thing. Because I think it's important.
Sure.
Like I've been in therapy my entire adult life, and I work on it a lot. And I work on that self-talk, turning the negative self-talk around. And I really, and I've battled depression as well, to be quite honest. So it's real. I don't know. I want to like sound as authentic. I don't want to sound like I'm, I finally arrived or something like that. But I just feel like I work very, 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 very hard at keeping myself as centered and as grounded as possible so that I feel good, so that I can keep doing this work because I love the work.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of self-talk.
Yep. It's like, would you say to strangers what you say to yourself?
Right.
Of course not.
No.
Why is that so normal?
Right. We are our own worst enemies.
Oh my God, are we ever?
But we need to be our own best friends.
Well said.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know what I'm going to unleash here, but if everyone just sat for about 5 minutes and closed their eyes and reflected on how good of a friend they are to themselves, whew, that's a rough one.
Yeah.
I'm currently working with an illustrator who has all of the talent in the world. And yet those voices, that negative self-talk, it's just, it sucks. But
it does.
It's not just this illustrator having a tough time getting out of their own way. It's
it goes deeper.
Yeah.
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 It often does.
Yeah.
I think most artists are battling some kind of demon and usually the creativity is it's the salve, it's the solution, it's the way that we make ourselves feel better. But then, it's a cycle because we're like then beating ourselves up again. And so then we have to create more. And like, it's like a cycle,
Totally. But that part of the documentary did end with Sid Caesar saying to Brooks, because he's like, what if they find me out? What if they find out that I'm a fraud? And since Sid Caesar says, well, yeah, they will find you out. They'll find out that you're brilliant and deserving.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah. And I think, gosh, could you imagine if all of us tapped into that?
Yeah. But then maybe we'd all be super arrogant and it would be annoying, right? Like, I think sometimes it keeps us humble a little bit. There has to be a balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of balance, my kids were off of school yesterday because of Snowmageddon.
Same.
My neighbors on either side of us were both off from work because they work, typical 9 to 5 type of thing. So they were sledding with their kids and playing in the snow and doing all these things and shoveling their driveway with ease and, leisure. Meanwhile, I'm like stressing and trying to shovel our driveway in like when you're my age and you're shoveling the driveway at hyper speed because you have a meeting you have to get to, not a good idea. And I was also listening to one of your episodes while I was doing it. So that was nice. But it brought to mind this idea that as a freelancer, as a self-employed person, they often tell you like, oh, it's so great. You make your own hours and stuff. But if you have a set schedule if you have a schedule that you set for yourself, Like I've never worked as hard as I do now when I worked in corporate publishing. Not even close, right? So they're all like enjoying their time. They're off from work today. Hey, Giuseppe, we're off from work today. And I'm like, fuck, I have a meeting at 9. So as a freelancer, how do you carve out time to work? How good are you at giving yourself time off?
I feel like I used to struggle a lot more. I've gotten into a much better routine in the last few years. So there are a few things that I do to kind of help with my routine. One is, you're going to laugh maybe, or maybe not,
nope.
But I have a coffee set up in my bedroom. So I've got a mini fridge, a Keurig coffee maker.
Okay.
I make myself coffee in my room. Like I kind of like set it up like I'm, getting ready for the day.
Yeah.
I work from home. My studio's in the basement, and I have another little coffee set up outside my studio. There's like another fridge with a Keurig. So I have coffee, I have snacks as if it's an office. I've got my seltzers all lined up. So I feel like I'm going to my office, and then I also belong to a yoga studio, which is what gets me out of the house. So then
awesome.
I do yoga a couple times a week, at least.
Same.
And I love it.
Yep.
And that's what is meditation and grounding. But I used to, way back when my kids were younger and I was doing this sort of freelance thing, I'd get them off to school and I'd be like, I have the whole day ahead of me. And often I was not nearly as busy back then as I am now.
Okay.
So that's when the guilt would set in. It's like or maybe I was busy, but I wasn't getting as much back from the outside world. So I didn't feel as like I deserved to have this career back then.
Got it.
I do feel more deserving of it now. I feel like, I've worked really fucking hard for,
There's the cuss word. There's the cuss word from
Oh, I
minutes
can cuss. I might be Canadian originally, but I can swear.
Well, what's interesting about that is that you're Canadian from Vancouver and you've been in New York for 30 years. And I don't know if you hear it, but I hear the New York accent a little bit more than the Canadian accent.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes me, I like that.
You did say sorry when we first started recording.
Okay. More people seem to hear the Canadian.
Oh, okay.
But that actually makes me feel good. Thank you.
Oh, well.
I feel like a real New Yorker.
Yeah,
I really
you're 100% New York. You're raising kids in New York. Oh, are you cool?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Do you question that? Does anyone question that? Because you're not born there? Oh, Selina, you're a real New Yorker. Come on.
Oh, cool. Okay.
1,000%. You've paid taxes in New York. You raised children in New York.
Yes.
You had to deal with all that bullshit with middle school and high school where you had to
so much bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, God. You're straight up New York.
Straight up. Okay.
Yeah. We'd left in 2020. We left Brooklyn and moved out here in 2020.
During the pandemic?
Yeah. And,
good for you.
Yeah. I mean, our kids were getting bigger. They were outgrowing everything in our apartment. And our parents were getting, my mother-in-law passed unexpectedly in 2019. And so which sucked because at the time I was still dealing with my depression and I just wasn't able to really be there for my wife too. So it was a hard, 2019 was an awful year. And so was 2018. Anyway,
sorry.
There you go again. Sorry. And, we just felt like we've been in New York long enough. It's time for us to go back closer to home. So that's why I moved here. Sorry, but okay. So yoga, grounding, managing your time, not feeling guilty about working, not working, setting up your studio. That's before I cut you off. That's where you were.
Oh, the other thing that I've been trying to do over the last few years is go on as many retreats / conferences / fellowships or anything that I can apply for that gets me away and in community with other creative people.
Yeah.
I've tried to do that several times a year if I can, just because I'm just it's sort of like the older I get, the more I realize that we're all in this together, and we need to be around each other. We need to learn. We need to figure out how we're going to adapt, like in this age of AI. Like, I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. And so being around other creative people and away from distractions, that's the good thing about these retreats. Like I'm talking about Highlights, which is just rebranded itself as Boyd's Mills. That's like one of my favorite places on earth. Have you been?
Totally. I taught there.
Oh, wonderful.
One time. Yeah.
So
time or
good.
Twice. Can't remember. It was like me, Mike Curato, a couple other folks. Twice. But I went another time with an editor. Her name was Orly. I don't think she's an editor anymore. I think she's freelance. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's beautiful.
And just being fed 3 times a day.
Oh, God.
And, being in nature.
The food was amazing. And the food was incredible.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
And I teach, like in the summer, I teach at a family camp in Vermont. So I get the same sort of thing, like 3 delicious vegetarian meals a day and yoga every morning. And then I'm teaching art and I get to make art. And I'm, I love it. If the more I do these kinds of things and then I integrate what I learn from these experiences, like for example, the coffee in my bedroom, and that comes from like Highlights. That comes from being in my cabin at Highlights and having a mini fridge and like having like those little indulgences that are like, I deserve this. Like I am going to treat myself. Like it's being your own best friend.
Sure. And I'm not laughing at any of that because Selina, I have a small wet bar in my closet.
Ooh.
With a tiny refrigerator.
Okay.
And it's got some hydrating drinks. Also has a few adult drinks.
Okay.
Things like that. So
nice.
Yeah. And I set the most adult thing I think anybody can do is set their coffee machine the night before.
Yes.
Which I do every night. And I'm so when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, thank God I did that last night.
Yes.
So responsible of me. Anyway.
It's so good.
So hopefully there's some folks listening to us who are also drinking coffee and hanging out with us. Illustrators, writers, what word of wisdom or piece of advice or word of encouragement would you like to share with the listener directly?
Be your own best friend. Take care of yourself. Do what you need to do to feel good, in your day-to-day, because this world will knock you down. And we all have those inner critical voices. So it's like, just give yourself permission to let yourself off the hook.
To learn more about Selina, visit selinaalko.com. If you find value in this podcast, consider becoming a patron. In return, you can access bonus episodes, receive invitations to our Art Directors After Hours series, and get a 10% off discount code for all ID offerings. Become a patron by visiting patreon.com/illustrationdept. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.